And bang! What is up, all Dunkin' Donuts #1 fans of viewers? Scott Casey Gale here. Today, I'm gonna give you my recap and review of one of my favorite horror movie sequels of all time, the 1996 Wes Craven classic Scream, which is definitely a must-watch. I'm gonna read you the back of it, and I'm gonna give you my recap and thoughts on it as well. Okay, here we go. It says the smash hit that transformed the horror genre into a phenomenon. Scream also launched the careers of some of today's brightest stars. After a series of mysterious deaths, an upbeat group of friends get caught up in a lively mix of thrills and chills, with hot stars Drew Barrymore, Courtney Cox, Neve Campbell, Skeet Ulrich, and David Arquette. And it goes, Scream is a 1996 American slasher film directed by the late Wes Craven and written by Kevin Williamson. The film stars David Arquette, Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, Matthew Lillard, Rose McGowan, Skeet Ulrich, and Drew Barrymore. Released on December 20, 1996, it follows the character of Sidney Prescott, a high school student in the fictional town of Woodsboro, California, who becomes the target of a mysterious killer in a Halloween costume known as Ghostface. The film combines black comedy and whodunit mystery with the violence of the slasher genre to satirize and the cliches of the horror movie genre, popularizing films such as Halloween, Friday the 13th, and Wes Craven's own A Nightmare on Elm Street. Scream was considered unique at the time of its release, for featuring characters who were aware of real-world horror films and openly discussed the cliches that the film attempted to subvert. But inspired by the real-life case of the Gainesville Ripper, Scream was influenced by Williamson's passion for horror films, especially Halloween. The script, originally titled Scary Movie, was bought by Dimension Films and was retitled by the Weinstein brothers. Just before filming was complete, the production faced censorship issues with the Motion Pictures Association of America and obstacles from locals while filming on location. The film received positive reviews and was a financial success, earning $170 million worldwide, becoming the highest-grossing slasher film until the release of Halloween 2018. It still remains the highest-grossing slasher film in adjusted dollars. It received several awards and award nominations. The soundtrack by Marco Beltrami was also acclaimed, and was cited as one of the most intriguing horror scores composed in years. It has since earned cult status. Scream marked a change in the genre as a cast already established and successful actors, which was considered to have helped it find a wider audience, including a significant female viewership. Scream was credited with revolutionizing the horror genre in the 1990s, which was considered to be almost dead, following an influx of direct-to-video titles and numerous sequels goes to establish horror franchises of the 1970s and 1980s. These sequels drew decreasing financial and critical success as they exploited cliches upon which films in the genre have become reliant. Scream's success spawned a series of sequels, though only Scream 2, released in 1997, achieved a level of commercial and critical success equal to the original film in the years following the release of Scream. The film was accused of inspiring and even including violent crimes and murders. The cast stars David Arquette as Deputy Dewey Riley, my favorite character of all time in the Scream franchise. Neve Campbell as Sidney Prescott, Courtney Cox as Gail Weathers, Matthew Lillard as Stu Maker, Rose McGowan as Tatum Riley, Dewey Riley's sister, Skeet Ulrich as Billy Loomis, Jamie Kennedy as Randy Meeks, W.L. Baum as Kenny Jones, Joseph Whipp as Sheriff Blake, Liv Schreiber as Cotton Weary, Drew Barrymore as Casey Becker, and Roger L. Jackson as the voice of Ghostface. Other cast members in smaller roles include Henry Winkler as Principal Arthur Henry, Frances Lee McGain as Mrs. Wiley, Kevin Patrick Wiles as Casey's boyfriend Steve Orr, Lawrence Hatch as Sydney's father, the Neo, Lynn McRae as Sydney's late mother Maureen, and David Booth and Carla Hatley as Casey's parents. Linda Blair from The Exorcist has a cameo as an obnoxious news reporter, and Wes Craven cameos as Freddy the school janitor, a reference to the Freddy Krueger character from A Nightmare on Elm Street. And here is the plot. High school student Casey Becker receives a flirty phone call from an unknown person during which they discuss horror movies. However, the caller turns sadistic and threatens her life. He reveals that her boyfriend Steve Orr is being held hostage and demands she answer questions about horror films. After Casey got one wrong, Steve is murdered. When Casey refuses to answer more questions, she is murdered by the masked killer. Her parents come home shortly after to find her corpse hanging from a tree. The following day, the news media descend on the town and a police investigation begins. Meanwhile, Sidney Prescott struggles with the impending first anniversary of her mother's murder by Cotton Weary. While waiting at home for her friend Tatum Wiley, Sidney receives a threatening phone call after she hangs up as she is attacked by the killer but manages to evade. Sidney's boyfriend Billy Loomis arrives shortly after, but after he drops his cell phone, Sidney suspects him of making the call and flees. Billy is arrested and Sidney spends the night at Tatum's house, where she receives another threatening phone call. The next day, Billy is released and suspicion has shifted to Sidney's father Neil Prescott, as the calls have been traced to his phone. School is suspected in the wake of the murders, and after the students have left the school, Principal Hembry is stabbed to death in his office. Tatum's boyfriend Stu Maker throws a party to celebrate the school's closure. The party is attended by Sidney, Tatum, and their friend Randy Meeks, and many other students. Reporter Gail Weathers attends uninvited to cover the situation as she expects the killer to strike Tatum's brother, Deputy Sheriff Dewey Waddy, who also looks out for the murderer at the party. Tatum is killed during the party by having her neck crushed by the garage door. Billy arrives to speak to Sidney privately, and the two ultimately consummate their relationship. Dewey and Gail investigate a nearby abandoned car. Many party attendees are drawn away after hearing news of Hembry's death. Sidney, Billy, Randy, Stu, and Gail's cameraman Kenny remain. After having sex, Sidney and Billy are attacked by the killer, who seemingly kills Billy. Sidney nearly escapes from the house and seeks help from Kenny, but the killer slashes his throat. Sidney then flees again. Gail and Dewey having discovered that the car belongs to Neil Prescott, return to the house. They believe Neil is the killer and has come to the party to continue his spree. Gail tries to escape in the van, but drives up to the road, avoiding hitting Sidney, and crashes. Meanwhile, Dewey is stabbed in the back while investigating in the house. And Sidney takes his gun. Stu and Randy appear and accuse each other of being the killer. Sidney retreats into the house, where she finds Billy wounded but still alive. She gives Billy the gun, and he lets Randy into the house and shoots him. Billy reveals that he feigned his injuries and is actually the killer. Stu is his accomplice. Billy and Stu discuss the plan to kill Sidney and frame the murder spree on her father, whom they have taken hostage. The pair also reveal that they have murdered her mother Maureen and framed Cotton for it, as she was having an affair with Billy's father, which drove the mother away. Gail, who survived the crash, intervenes, and Sidney takes advantage to turn the tables on her attackers, knocking out Billy before dropping a television set on Stu's head, killing him. Randy is revealed to be wounded but alive. Billy resurfaces and attacks Sidney, but Gail shoots him. Sidney takes the gun and finally kills Billy with a single shot to the head. As the sun rises and the police arrive, Dewey Dewey is badly injured, is taken away by the ambulance, and Gale makes an impromptu news report about the night's events. And I love this movie from beginning to end. I mean, Scream was an awesome movie, and I think the acting was great. I mean, David Arquette was really good as Sheriff Dewey Wiley. Courtney Cox was really good as Gale. Neve Campbell was really good as Sidney Prescott. Jamie Kennedy was really good as Wendy Meeks, who was a horror movie buff who also gives out the horror movie rules. In a slasher movie, you cannot have sex, you cannot do drugs, you cannot get drunk, because if you do, you die. And never say, I'll be back, because you won't be back. But anyway, great characters, great movie. I rate this movie a 10 out of 10, 5 stars, 2 thumbs up, and a triple plus. Comment down below in the comment section, tell me what you thought about this movie and who your favorite character was. Now, Dewey was originally supposed to die in the movie. He was originally supposed to die, but that script was changed because the fans loved Dewey Wiley so much that Wes Craven decided to surprise everybody and film Dewey being loaded into the ambulance. Yeah, like I said, Dewey Wiley and Gale are my favorite characters, and that's how and that started when and Courtney Cox and shortly after Scream, Courtney Cox and David Arquette started dating, and later they would get married. But unfortunately, in 2011, they end up, or sometime after 2011, they end up divorcing. But yeah, like I said, I really like this movie. I mean, the kills were awesome. The characters were awesome. Everything about this movie was on point. And like I said, comment down below in the comment section. Tell me what you thought about this Scream franchise and who your favorite character was. Also, shout out to a fan of YouTube. He is a great YouTuber. He does wrestling reports. He does horror movie reviews. Definitely check out his channel. And if you do see this a fan of YouTube, I would like to hear your thoughts on the Scream franchise in the comment section. Anyway, you stay classy, live long and prosper, and peace out. And I will be back here later to do a recap and review of Scream 2, 3, and 4.